If we think in terms of all of the demands and changes that have been taking place in history, we know that there's been more change in the past 50 years than ever before in history, and more in the past 10 than in the previous 50. So the velocity of itself has increased, and so has the demands on our capacity to be resilient. Stress and electronics interfere. They interfere when they overwhelm the human system. When we lose sleep, when we wake up with it, or we have difficulty going back asleep, when it interferes with our relationships. We're consumed with our thinking or our monkey mind, and it interferes with our ability to be present to the people that are nearest and dearest to us. We begin to recognize that our electronic devices, which can be very helpful in helping us to navigate a very challenging world and workplace, also become a barrier to being able to disconnect from it. Mindfulness is that ability to be able to be aware of what's taking place in real time and to notice when we're being hijacked. So it's beyond the intention of awarenessing, and awarenessing, which is seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling, but the notion of interoception. What sparks within when something comes into our space, whether it be a text message or an email? Does our heart skip a beat? Do we hold our breath? Do we clench our fist to fight or to flee or to freeze from the stressors that are taking place within us? And then mindfulness also calls us to be able to let go and to rejuvenate. And so it's both. It's the ability to be able to notice where we're holding, where the body's keeping score, and how we're letting it go moment by moment. One of the things that happens with emails or text in particular is that we're often running inside our thinking and overthinking brain. We start a narrative or a dialogue that begins with a response. Well, this is what I would say, or this is how I'm thinking, and then this is how they might think or they might respond, and we're off into a feud. Or if we're online, perhaps we're subject to clickbait. 6 or 7 clicks into finding something that we're really curious about, and it's all good, except we recognize 45 minutes later that we're nowhere near where we started and what we intended to be present to. One of my alternatives might be that we choose to turn our technology off and leave it off for periods of time. We turn our screens off an hour before we go to bed because the research has told us that the lights will interrupt melatonin and interrupt our sleep. We can look at our alternatives. We could control. We could ask ourselves that central question, what do I have control? Because oftentimes we obsess and we ruminate about what we have no control over. And so as soon as we ask the question, do I have control over this? And if the answer is no, perhaps then we just make a conscious decision not to give it quite the energy that we were giving to it. Delete is another aspect of that mechanism. Delete is a powerful way of being able to say, I can cut this piece out. I can delete it. I'm not so concerned sometimes with what I'm taking into the system, but what the system is preventing me from doing. So if I delete my cell phone or my electronic devices at specified periods of the day, then I'm more apt to be present to those people that are near and dear to me. For many of us, it's important to recognize that end tasking, that we're finished with our job today, and now we're going home, and this is where I need to be. It's a different task. I've ended this task, and I'm moved on to the next or the new beginning. So those are some ideas for Mr. Gates in the alternate control delete and task as we communicate at the speed of thought, because we have technology has a digital nervous system, but humans have a digital nervous system as well, and we need to be able to turn it off as well as turn it on.